Okay.
Um, so can everyone see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone, are we hearing things?
Uh, yeah.
Maybe I need to, oh, I think I didn't say share sound. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm out of practice with the Zoom.
Oh, I know. Even after 2 years of Zoom, it's always wrong.
I know. Okay. Do you hear that? No?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is a concert I played like a week and a half ago with this photoreactive synthesizer and the MUGIC sensor.
Hmm.
So I'm holding these two photoresistors in my hands that are responding to the light, and then I have the music in the fold of my beanie.
Uh-huh.
So that's what's going on. I'll just play this for y'all and then talk a little bit more.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, Thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So your music was here on the head?
Yes, it's in the like I have my beanie on and I just put
Uh-huh.
it in the little fold and
So when you went
it's
like
gonna
this, it just like
yeah
that. Very
yeah
cool.
yeah
So, that was like a controlling, what kind of parameter were you controlling?
yeah. Let me just pull up my. I think maybe the easiest way to talk about this is just to show y'all the max patch.
Sure.
Um, so okay, so I've got essentially like three processing things happening. So there's
Mm-hmm.
this like pitch shift.
Mm-hmm.
There's two granular delays. One is like a big blocky, chunky granular delay kind of thing, and then this
Mm-hmm.
is like a pitch shift, kind of more uh, softer kind of thing. And so those are just kind of routed to the three different axes that my head can turn on, right? So you have like nodding,
Oh, I see.
shaking your head no, and then
Mm-hmm.
like this way side to side. Um, so like this is changing the pitch in
Mm-hmm.
the patch. Um, this is doing like the kind of softer delay, and then this is the
Ah.
like bigger, chunkier delay that's changing. And then this is kind of interesting because it's also like a little bit of a like a dynamic control
Huh.
because here everything's like fairly quiet. So like this kind of like 45-degree angle is kind of like also functions as like a piano, mezzo
Mm-hmm.
piano kind of dynamic change, which is kind of fun. Um, yeah, and then the last two things I'm using the speed parameter
Mm-hmm.
to control the level of this like generative sine tone patch
Mm.
that I have that I built. Um, that's using the like frequency information to just generate some sine tones and then using the jolt as just this like big, loud, kind of
Mm.
low frequency boom. Um,
Do
yeah.
you have the so the whole piece was like how long?
Like around 10 minutes.
Really? So during
Yeah.
those 10 minutes, do you have like a did you have like a scene change or it goes automatically or how did you have sections of the piece or how did it work?
So it's all like improvisational.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing, I really wanted to like, because one thing I think is really nice about the music is that you can kind of get away from the laptop,
Yeah.
which I think is like a really cool performative like thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of tried to set it up as much as I could to like not have to touch my laptop or have any kind of scene changes. So it's yeah, it's all kind of improvisational,
Mm.
and it's all just in kind of one setting. Um, yeah.
Yeah, but you said some not but you have a you said this does something, and this does something. So those things, those movements can merge, right? Like you
hmm
do one thing. So when you're performing, did you consciously do, oh, I'm gonna do more of this and more of that, or things like that?
Yeah, so a lot of this was like, okay, like I'm programming and setting up this instrument and also like building the synthesizer that I was playing and like kind of codifying that and then just like
Mm-hmm.
practicing that for a long time and getting kind of a really intuitive sense of like, okay, what does this feel like if I, have this up here and I do this kind of head movement, or like if I go from here to here and kind of getting that like fluidity that you get from practicing like any other instrument,
Mm-hmm.
just through like kind of playing with it and performing with it.
So
Um,
what were you holding on your hand?
so it's this, let me see if I have a photo of it. Um, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It's this like, oh, you know what? I know where I can find it. One second. It's that's my like light synthesizer that I built. So it's
Oh, you built it.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's this little box that has these two photoresistors
Uh-huh.
in like in inside of a bass rosin container because I'm
Okay.
actually primarily a bassist.
Okay.
Um, so here's a photo of that. Um, can you see this
Oh,
on the screen?
yeah. Okay.
So these are
You,
like photoresistors that are sending to an Arduino based on the
uh-huh.
light.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the light portion and your head, music on your head portion is completely separate, right?
So the light is like controlling this Arduino that's just sending a raw signal at one
Mm-hmm.
volume.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music is just controlling all the different kinds of processing that I do on that signal.
Great. All right. Any question from the attendees, the group? Anybody has any question to Connor? No? If not, Connor, can you just play again a little bit? So Eric get to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I
Oh
have
yeah,
all
yeah,
this
sure.
information. I like to see it again. You don't have to play the whole thing, but yeah, I just want to see.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll play a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Very cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
very cool. Yeah, I see that when you go like this. Yeah. So your
Mm.
light thing, what was exactly doing? Is it turning on and off the lights or?
Yeah. So the lights I'm just turning on with like the switch on this like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a very basic hardware store kind of light thing, but it's these like photoresistors that are sending a signal based on how bright the light is, and then
I
that's
see.
changing the pitch of the oscillator.
Oh,
And so when I'm covering them, I'm just basically making it kind of black out so that they turn off. Because if there's no light, they stop making sound. Um,
oh, I see.
yeah. So like as
Oh,
I'm
I see.
doing this and it's darker, the pitch goes lower. And then as I bring it up towards the light, the pitch kind of rises.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. And then I can get these kind of like bi bitone kind of like two pitches at the same time if I'm like,
I
doing this
see.
kind of thing.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. What is your, if I may ask, what is your next project? What do you want to do next?
I'm working on my recital right now, actually. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so that's the big thing right now. It's a bunch of like chamber electroacoustic chamber music,
Mm-hmm.
and some prepared piano, installation stuff, and lots
I
of
see.
crazy fun things.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a plan for another new music piece for?
Yeah, I at some point I really want to, because like I said, I'm like a double bassist.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point I want to kind of see how I can merge that into my like practice as like a free improvising double bassist.
Mm-hmm.
Because something that's always tricky is like dealing with like or managing like playing with live electronics with the bass because it's such a full body instrument that
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of have to, you have to choose, do I want to like do some electronic thing or do I want to play my bass? But I feel like this like music in the beanie idea is like going to be kind of really interesting to explore because it kind
Mm-hmm.
of frees me up to do kind of two things at once, in a way that's
That's great.
exciting. So yeah.
Does the sensor stay inside the beanie without moving? Is it tight enough?
It that needs to be workshopped a little bit more because it
Yeah.
did actually kind of slip in the
Yeah.
show a little bit. So I need to get one of those. You have those things that like it's a pocket with Velcro or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
think Levy has them in a glove. There's a,
mhm.
a little patch of a Velcro, so you can actually sew the thing on your beanie and put it in the
Yeah.
pocket, and it will never move. You know.
Yes.
So that's for
That.
that.
Yeah. 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 That's the
Exactly
next
for this
phase.
kind of situation. Good.
Awesome.
Great. Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Anybody, any
Cool.
parting question? Because Connor has to get. Yeah, Jenny.
Hi, Connor. Yeah, super
Hi.
interesting idea. I just have a simple question. So you were holding two photoresistors, one in each
Mhm.
hand. I'm just wondering, is that because you have two like signal stream, or yeah? I'm just wondering why
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. So it's I kind of wanted to just mostly have some kind of two tones instead of just one. So it's like not monophonic. And it's a little bit strange because to get Arduino to be polyphonic is like really complicated. So it's actually just like a really quick tremolo between the two pitches. But yeah, they're essentially doing like two separate pitches.
Hmm. It's indigenous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have one more
Yeah.
question.
Hmm.
Regarding the light in front of you, have you tried? Because
Hmm.
in the video, it's kind of this like orange, like kind of that kind of a tone color. Have you tried
Hmm.
like different color of light? Like, what if it's a white light? Does it change the reading of the photoresistor?
Um, I feel like I've played around with a few different like not like actually different colored lights, like not like a totally blue light or something, but different kind of white balances of light. And I haven't noticed a huge difference, but it might be different if it was like an actually like purple light or something, like um yeah, so I'm not sure. Not entirely sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else before Connor has to get going? Okay. All right. Well, Connor, thank you so
Cool.
much. What kind of rehearsal do you have to go to? What rehearsal do you have to go to?
I am doing sound for this kind of
Oh.
I'm doing sound for this kind of like intermedia collaborative experimental play
Oh, I
that's
see. Oh,
happening
I see. So you're
the
going as a
second of
tech
May.
person?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, thank you, Connor.
Yes, the
Yeah.
tech and composer.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
having me on and
Of
letting me
course.
show you
Come
my work. I
again.
really
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate it. It's
Come
nice to
again.
meet you
All
all.
right. Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. Hey, Kevin. Can you go next, do you think?
Sure.
You ready to
Can
go?
you hear me
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kevin and Eric, did you see each other at CMUS in Purdue?
No, I
You
didn't.
were both there. So I guess
I'm really bad at socializing,
yeah,
so
yeah. So Kevin is a BYU professor, Brigham Young in Utah, and Eric teaches at Knox College
Yep.
in
Nice to meet you.
Illinois
nice to
State.
meet you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Kevin, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, yeah, I thought I'd show maybe a couple times I've used the MUGIC sensor and then maybe show how we're going to be using it in a concert in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I'll share my screen. See if this works. Okay.
So Eric, Kevin was the #1 customer of the Music One. He was my advisee at UCI, and
How many did you buy, Kevin?
We bought two, and right now I'm actually waiting on a purchase approval for getting a couple of the new ones.
yeah.
Nice. Great.
Let's see. Share sound.
Are you working for a different computer? Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see it. Ah, yes. Yeah,
Does that work?
yeah, this is your thesis concert.
Yeah. So this is one of the one piece where we used or where I used the MUGIC sensor. So it is, let's see, is that still showing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this piece is called Ecosystem 1. And I've yet to follow it up with an Ecosystem 2, but I'm sure that's coming. So I have these two performers. This is Omar and Nilufar here. Nilufar on the Comanche. It's hard to see, but the MUGIC sensor is, we secured it to the top of her instrument, oriented in a specific way. And essentially what that is controlling is the camera angle. In this particular performance, and the camera angle of the projection, that's live interactive projection. The projection is the score, and it's informing them of some very subtle things in terms of the current state of the system that they're interacting with. And I needed some feedback for Nilufar to know sort of how much she's affecting the system. So without getting into it too deep, these two are representing sort of like a chaos and order dynamic. But the more Nilufar, who is order, the more she acts, the more that Omar is enabled as chaos to disrupt the system. So they're locked in this performative relationship. And then she's encouraged to act and to perform in order to avoid a very unpleasant feedback that can occur if she's not producing sound or moving. So what the MUGIC sensor then is linked to is that feedback loop, or rather the filter that allows the feedback to be avoided. and then her sound also enables that avoidance of the feedback. So I think in the most simplest terms, the MUGIC sensor is linked to the center frequency of a bandpass filter on the signal. But there's a lot of resistance to that, so she has to sort of move it around. So the visuals then are giving her some feedback by way of the camera angle to let her know how much impact she's having. So I'll just push play. Let me know if you can hear it. Yeah, so there's an excerpt of that. And she proceeds to avoid that feedback or quell the feedback. Yeah, through not just the sound, but by the MUGIC sensor controlling the filter that feedback is being run through. Yeah. Maybe before I move to the next one, are there any questions about this one?
That's on a the visual I forgot was Unity?
Yeah, so I built that in Unity, and then the max patch is controlling a lot of the Unity parameters
Right.
just through OSC.
Right. I remember in the sledgehammer business that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
we had to be careful nobody gets hurt. And
I
we're
know
talking
the
like
last
goggles.
performance, right? The last performance, Omar completely destroyed that palette because we didn't need it anymore.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But there was a problem with that recording, so
Yes. As a teacher, I had to make sure nobody gets splintered
yeah.
or something. Yeah, that's right. All right. So show us what's going on at BYU.
Yeah, so well, I was gonna, let's see, real quick. I also wanted to show, if it's okay. This is this was also at UCI. I think all my best MUGIC work was probably at UCI. But I'll show you what we're just this system we had built real quick, which let's see, did that show up this next video? So he's holding the MUGIC in his hand. We hadn't quite figured out exactly how we were going to attach it to him yet.
Well, I have the gloves.
Yes, yes, they didn't exist at the time.
That's right.
But I'm anticipating using those really nice gloves. Yeah, you showed them to me at Seamus.
Yeah.
They're very, very nice. But this is so. Yeah, I really liked the being able to use the orientation data for the camera and the previous one. This one, I had a super complicated interaction between the sensor and Jacob here, the choreographer. But it ended up being much better to just use the energy value, just the sort of all the delta values.
Right.
to
Is this
allow-
Unity or Unity or Jitter?
Yeah, this is Unity again. So I built these point clouds for particles to be attracted to
Right.
that were in the shape of letters and words. And then because usually for something like this, these visuals, what like I don't know, like a trailer for Frozen or something, what they'll do for all the frost particles to coalesce into a word is you start with all the particles on the word and then you render it out and then you just reverse the image.
Right.
But I needed this to be in real time the other direction,
Right.
and I wanted the MUGIC sensor to control the disruption, the spark. And
Oh, I
disruption.
remember it. Yeah, I remember.
and
I
then
gave
also
you
the-
some. Yeah, I gave you some patch, didn't I? Of old one that we did with the Japanese characters, like Lyuba Borisov one. Didn't
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that interacted with
Yeah,
the words,
yeah.
and because I didn't want to use I needed text, but I didn't want someone to speak it out, and so
I see.
this was also running a synthesizer that was kind of this talkbox emulator, this vocal formant max patch. So it's also you can hear those vowels, kind of this kind of
Right,
sounds as he's moving the sensor, and so that was his voice as he moves it around. And then the actual performance, what we decided to do was I placed the MUGIC sensor in this little planted pot, or this little pot with a
Yeah,
plant
that's
in it,
right.
and used that as a prompt. And that's one of my favorite uses. I might reprise that, but it's sort of recreation of that system.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. Okay, so then for this project we've got on April 11th, let me share a different screen. Let's see.
Oh, so this is upcoming concert at BYU?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. Does that show up?
Oh my God, what is this?
Okay, so fear not. It's
I do.
it's just it's just one beat patcher over and over again.
Yeah, but how many channels do you have? Jesus.
Yeah, so we've got with the Eliza system that we have by L Acoustics, it's an immersive audio, an object-based immersive audio format. So everything's channel-based, and yeah, rather than thinking of like something out of left or right channel
Right.
instead, it's similar to Atmos, how Dolby Atmos works.
Right.
So the system that we built, and let's see, on this computer, I've got this one works with the cell phone, but that's really cumbersome. So we're working with dancers, and instead of coming from the cell phone, we'll be getting all of our data from the MUGIC sensor. So let's see.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so each of these channels here have you have positional data,
Right.
elevation, panning, distance, and then that's being sent to the processor, the Eliza processor, which will, do all the wavefront synthesis to, make it sound like it's in the specific location. It's a 26 speaker array in the venue. And then, so what this specific patch does though is you can choose where all your sound sources are, so you can build a soundscape. with up to 32 channels.
Mhm.
The system will take 128, but our hardware
Mhm.
only does 32.
So what will you be panning? The sound or?
So we're actually these will all stay in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So you build your soundscape, but the concept was to be able to use the MUGIC sensor as the analogy is that it's like a flashlight for sound.
Ah, okay, I see.
Yeah, so the
Mm-hmm.
sounds themselves don't move.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we use the magnetometer to
To point to where you are. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
if you're pointing north, then up here it basically will send
Oh, that's
you
smart.
can watch the source or the listener being sent around, and it serves as a proximity sensor, all of this whole patch, so
Mm-hmm.
that as as you pan around with the MUGIC sensor, it will turn up the sounds that it's close to,
Mm-hmm.
and you can sort of set the threshold here with that accuracy
Very cool. Wow.
value. And then also with tilt, because there is also a distance value.
Mm-hmm.
As you tilt to the right, it'll push it forward. And
I
then as
see.
you tilt to the left, it'll pull it closer to you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically sending this listener around. And the project is this canyon where we have 270-degree projection,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a canyon footage of these slot canyons, these beautiful,
Oh,
the
wow.
orange, vivid Utah slot canyons with sand at the bottom. And so we're creating that soundscape, but then the dancers will be able to they're going to be using this system to explore the sounds that they're pointing to.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought that was an interesting way to take the concept of a soundscape and then make it interactive so that it could have a focus, because it's a very subtle soundscape with just some wind we're generating and some other samples and stuff, but it's not meant to be too loud or overbearing. It's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
very, very subtle. So
Mm-hmm.
the dancers will be able to move around the space, sort of pointing at these areas, and allow them to be these focal points for sound and for the music.
What a beautiful idea. Did you collaborate with this or you basically came up with it?
Well, I'm running a seminar where, I'm working with 3 students. I had a student who kind of wanted to do a soundscape, and this was my way of like forcing her to make it interactive. So I
Mm-hmm.
built this for her.
Yeah, yeah. You get to do that, yes.
So
Oh, this is
the
wonderful.
seminar that I'm running, we're researching immersive music and how to write, it intentionally immersive music rather than just sound kind of going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is like the soundscape element where, you could just have this illusion of sounds being all around you, but then we like making that highly performative by making it interactive. And these ideas all came. It's hard to say who came up with any particular idea. So the paper we're writing about it all has everybody's name on it.
Great. Oh, great. You're writing a paper. Oh, I was
Mhm.
just gonna ask, are you gonna publish this thing? Anybody else
I am
have
too, yeah.
question to Kevin? Anybody has question to Kevin?
Yeah. Why is your hardware only got 32 channels when you can leverage it 128?
Funding. We're actually hoping this concert, we've invited all the higher ups to come and watch, and we're going to try to really impress them and say, hey, by the way, we're limited in our usage here, because we've actually only got 1 projector. They rented out 3 more to complete a 270-degree projection, and so we're going to ask for that, and then I'm going to ask for some trackers as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, hopefully we can tag a few MUGIC sensors onto that list also.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, the money, yeah. Anybody else have a question for Kevin? No? Okay, well, thank you, Kevin. This is amazing. I might actually play this video to my class
Okay.
It's very, very good. All right. Okay. Eric, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. Get like
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
time zones mixed
Yes.
up, and like when I talked with you, Mari, I was in we were in Eastern time zone, and then I drove back, and now I'm back in Central. So
That's all right.
when I put in my calendar, I put it in the wrong
That's
time
okay.
zone. All
Totally.
right. So my name is Eric Lemmon, composer, performer, and I do, at least my experience with MUGIC is largely through this ensemble that I'm part of called Ensemble Decipher.
Oh, excuse me.
And
Everybody saw the Dog Chewtoy video, right? Have you seen my Dog Chewtoy piece? The sensor in the Dog Chewtoy. He's playing in that. But anyway, so
yeah, I'm going to show it. I'm going to show
okay,
it. I'm
good.
going to
Okay,
show
good.
two versions of it. And so is this like the first big piece you wrote for the MUGIC? So it was basically done at Music for Strings in 2021.
It's the first piece that I did with no string instruments. It's the first piece for an ensemble. So
Right, right.
yeah,
And so the first one did have you, the one we did at Denmark,
that's
and then
right. Okay,
we
yeah,
reconfigured it
right,
later, right?
right.
So
Okay.
I'll show you both of these because one is with Mari playing violin, and then the other is one that we worked on together to reconfigure so that it was just for the ensemble without Mari, because Mari can't be everywhere at once. Unfortunately, it seems like she is, but not always the case. So I'll show you both kind of to talk about what we did. And then I'll talk about kind of how we've incorporated the MUGIC into some of our future projects that have occurred after that. So this first piece that Mari composed for us and for MUGIC is called KISMET. And isn't it the ball is called that? And I think that on top of that, like drawing from that name, Kismet means kind of destiny. And so Mari was drawing on that idea thematically when she was composing the work. So I'm just going to pull this up and play this first performance that we had, kind of the premiere that was in Denmark back in 2021. And I'm going to make sure I share sound. And I have original sound for musicians on, and let's go ahead and listen to some of this. Everybody can hear that?
Can you jump to where the Joey one, the
Yep, of
jagged
course.
one? There you go. That's right.
Okay, so what you can see here is that there's actually two MUGICs. There's one in the dog toy that as we move it and manipulate, it works on the samples. And I'll show you Mari's patch. I have it up here. And then after and beyond that, Mari's wearing one on her bow hand. and is using that to control her sound. So we can take a look at the kind of the first version of this patch here. Everything's kind of tucked away for clean, GUI, and working interfaces, but you can see that there's these different kind of sections of the piece. We listened to that initial section where Mari and Chelsea, the vocalist, is improvising, and then we heard, I guess I think that what we just listened to or switched to was this woo sound, Joey Woo, where the sample is being manipulated by the I think it's jolt and acceleration.
Yeah, energy. Energy.
Yeah, energy.
Jolt, yeah.
So it has to be jolted enough to actually start activating the sound there. And as it goes through, it kind of these different parameters of the MUGIC that I think probably all of you are familiar with affect the sound in different ways. So now I'm going to show you kind of the end section of the piece. Let me just make sure I found the right one. Yeah, here we go. So then we reconfigured it a little bit. We took kind of the section itself, the piece itself, and we reorganized the piece. And on top of that, we integrated a bit more communication. So from beyond just being between Max and the MUGIC, we were also sending data from the MUGIC to Ableton Live via OSC, trying to remember whether you had you had built kind of the OSC patch in at that point, or whether we had to hack it in. But let's see. I can show you this little section. So this is now, we took kind of this section that was in the middle and we put it at the end. And instead of having one person controlling the ball at once, we wanted to make it a little bit more performative. So here we can see all of us controlling the ball. And the piece kind of ends with these beautiful chords that Mari had composed or taken from some of the samples that we had given her. Cool.
That was actually the sample you gave me, Eric.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
It's like a sort of droney sound, and I just filtered it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
What I'm doing is just changing the parameter of the resonator.
Yeah.
So, but that was your sample. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like here, this is the new one, I think. So here we kind of like we simplified stuff, tucked away more into the background in this case. And so it was just basically we could go through the sections, and we had our own score that we had to memorize for these two different pieces in this context. So, and we can kind of take it out of presentation mode, and you can see kind of partially Mari's patching plus some of the work that we did for functional purposes here. A lot of it is mostly Mari's work in this case. So then we actually, we were still interested in using this And so what ended up happening is we used it again in this work for dance. It looks like dance is a very big component of composers working with MUGIC. And I think that one of the things that was the big driver actually of this, of incorporating the MUGIC into this work was Hiva Serhat, who's a choreographer, Iranian choreographer and dancer. And we first created this work for the Emruz Festival, which is in New York City. It's an Iranian performing arts festival. And on that performance, it was two of our performers, Rob and Taylor, in collaboration with Hiva. And then we did it again, and Nilüfer Norbash also joined the group. And in the initial performance, I'm pretty sure that if I recall correctly, there was no MUGIC there. In the second performance that was at Roulette, we did incorporate the MUGIC. So I think that I'm going to try and play this back, and hopefully we can hear some of it's being used, because some of it's subtle, some of it's very obvious. Just get this right. Can you see that all right? So you can see the MUGIC gaffed to Hiva's hands. And so what we have here is a metal plate that we commissioned to build, and on the underside are contact microphones that are being routed out to our audio system, Max Patches, and we have 3 performers that are all exchanging audio and reacting to one another, as well as Hiva's motion manipulating the sound. So the sound from the plate and some triggered samples, some samples that we've incorporated are part of the sonic texture. And kind of here at the beginning, if I'm hearing correctly, yeah, we're bringing back some of those tapping sounds for Hiva, some of her speaking. What you're hearing right now coming in is no input mixing. So you can start to hear how her moving around her hands and manipulating some of the reverb and filtering that's going on. So here you can actually, they used Mari, the samples that Mari used here, if I recall correctly. Or this is the beginning, in this case. Hiva really liked those sounds. So you can hear the filtering on some of those vocal sounds here. So here you can see that kind of that, as with a lot of, I think, work that's done with MUGIC, is it's really trying to connect some of these electronic sounds concretely to what's going on physically that we can see as a performative aspect. It's kind of trying to break away or push back on the virtuality of electronic music in some cases, where we get a disconnect between what we're hearing and what's controlling those particular sounds. So that's a little bit of the history of how we've been using MUGIC. I use it for fun often, to do little experiments in controlling different kinds of sounds, parameters, able to live, or sometimes I use it on job talks even, because it's such a tactile thing, and people seem to really love it, enjoy it for the teaching demos for
Yeah.
electronic
It
music.
makes a really good demo material.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, at least, for me, obviously, it's mostly within the context of being a performer working within Ensemble Decipher that I interact with the MUGIC and pieces that are written for us or pieces that we collaborate on. And then obviously using it for practical effects for teaching or for kind of exploring, making cute little things.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody has a question for Eric? No, we're good. Kyle, so welcome to our family. Here you are. So Kyle is the newest member of our music family from University of Hartford, Hart School. You sent us a question. What type of a parameter user are you finding music good at controlling versus one that is less innately equipped for? Would you like to elaborate what you meant about?
I mean, I think it's actually been sort of answered as we go through, of just seeing what people find that it's really good at doing, and what maybe like you would have to jerry rig it a little bit more to be able to do. I know what it does. I was just more speaking from the experience of people that have been using it, because I just ordered it, but I don't have it yet, so I haven't gotten to play with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're, like a Kevin or somebody who does a more interactive graphic type thing, it's very effective. I'm not really a graphics person, but I just started to learn the jitter because I need to. So, you know what? If you don't have any question, this is my very kind of badly made, straight out of a tutorial kind of thing. So here I am connected. Oh, by the way, so the new MUGIC, so I'm on a client mode, so I'm talking to you on the internet and connected to the MUGIC, right? So this is my horrible patch. Here. So this is Kevin saw this, but what I wanted to show you. So this one is basically kind of sort of chaotic thing. This is the energy, like Kevin was doing, the energy, right? And then the sustain thing, which is this. Oops. Here, this yellow bar that's continuing. I didn't even orient. So let's see. Orient, up and down, and side. So here goes, right, sustaining. So this makes it the dots bigger, right? I'm just going like that, and when I shake, it shakes. So I mean, these are very kind of a fundamental, elementary skills. But what I wanted to show you was in Max, it seems everything is kind of it's all dependent on this range setting and the scaling, and also slide objects. Slide out smart way of using a slide object. But smart, I meant not really smart, but in my case, I play, right? So it has to kind of go with my bowing. So it's not exactly the same for everyone. For example, for this energy thing, I use here, I'm sorry for the mess. so the energy is coming in here, right? But then I limit the energy, scale the energy to whatever this dots are needing. But then I have the slide object to up and down slide object. It's the same 3. I set to 3. I spend most of my time tweaking this slide object, what it needs. So this is exactly the kind of speed I wanted, depending on how I play. So you really have to match what you're doing. So this another control I'm having here is the steadiness control. So this is what you just saw, this yellow thing. Oops, this thing. So it's just counting a millisecond, right? Like that. So here I'm scaling it to 300 milliseconds to 1 second. But I have the range, like a huge range in case I go really high. But again, I have the but this time the slide is 120. 20 meaning when the number comes back to 0, I want a really smooth slide. But when it activates, it goes pretty much immediately, because that seems to be what it works for me. See? So I just had to, I wanted to show you that I spend most of the time tweaking this kind of a little movements that goes with my hand. Anyway, yeah. Anybody has any question? Oh, I didn't unblur myself. Sorry. Thank you, Miguel. You could see, right? Kind of. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, anybody has any closing question, remark, whatever? We're at time, so.
Yeah, I saw that in the new patch you have helps with kind of the orientation, like detecting orientation. Is that a new feature that's out and released, or is?
Oh yeah, it's on my website. So
Great. Okay.
yeah, if you I can send you the link, or you can find it yourself.
No, I can find it.
Yeah, you
I can
can
find
find
it
it.
myself.
Yeah, this thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have one for multiple music ones
Yeah.
as well, and all the instructions are in here. Oops.
Great.
So
Cool.
whatever I'm sending is coming out of there, so you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is only for 2.0 or
No,
for
it works for
1.9?
both.
Okay.
Works
Great.
for both. Oh my God, there's a little hack that I had to do, because mechanically they switched something around from the Arduino version to this proprietary version. So I have a
Yeah.
way to detect whether this is 1 or 2.
I see. I see.
It's really
Cool.
terrible. If
Yeah.
you would indulge, I'm just gonna the gory detail here. So
Yeah.
here, so for the battery it's so funny. This is a hack that I found. So the battery reading for both machines are different, because one is Arduino and this is proprietary. So this
Yeah.
comes in as the exact voltage, like a 4.15, right?
Yeah.
But the Arduino comes in as 4,000 something. So I just did a stupid thing of, if it's bigger than that,
Yeah.
then that's the one, that's the 2.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when it's the 2, then I switched around the
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway.
Cool. Cool.
So it works for both. And if you
Awesome.
have both of them running at the same time, it also works for both.
Great.
Because we have the multi-patch with that in it. So, okay, so using the old one and the new one, they would, be exactly the same. But new one is mechanically more superior. So I was told by a CS student. So I take it as a truth. So only other thing that I wanted to show you and to say goodbye. I'm hosting computer science capstone projects. And this is what oh no. So, okay, God, you know what? The funny, okay, sorry. The fastest way of doing is to go to my, so this thing,
Oh, wait, am I right? Going all crazy. Up and down. Up and down to make it up and down. Oh, wait, am I the one right? Steroids. Oh my God. Oh, wait, am I?
So they're making a Pong game on steroids,
Yeah.
basically. So the
Yeah.
Pong is going like this, right? But this one can go like this. And if you go to
Yeah.
the front, the ball will be faster, so you have to react fast. I mean, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's
Yeah.
what's cooking, and we are going to release it probably in May after all the things.
Fine.
So, okay, anybody, any question? Very good. So we plan to do this again probably towards the end of April again. So keep in touch with us, keep in touch with your progress, and yeah. So great. Thank you so much for coming. Great seeing you. Welcome,
Thanks for having
Kyle.
me, Mari.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
Hey, Mari,
Yeah.
do you have a second?
Yeah, I have a second.
So I have a slide tip for you
Mm-hmm.
that if slides, but if you've been having trouble with tweaking it, can I show you real quick?
Yeah,
What
yeah, please.
Yeah, you might know this already, but I thought I'd share it because it saved me a lot.
Okay.
But so with slide, did that come up?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
see.
Okay. So let's see, with the MUGIC, are you getting an inconsistent rate on the data coming in?
No,
It's still fairly consistent.
yeah.
Okay, so I what I've done in the past is I'll do a metro, and again, you might do this already, maybe like one or two, and I'll just have it active.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll send that to like a global tick or something so that anytime I have slide, I can receive that. And what this does is I'll have like, I remember you taught me about speed lim.
Yeah.
A speed lim, and then I'll send I'll send the metronome to every one of the slides so that it's all of the slide objects are consistent rate.
Oh, I see. Huh.
Rather than it being dependent on if the system's processing any or if the network starts getting a little more like some more messages, then all of a sudden slide, because slide only processes every time a number comes through. So if the network gets like, if it slows down a tiny bit because you've got maybe more sensors or something like that, then the patch is going to behave differently.
I see.
But what the metro will do is make it constant every single time, especially if you've got the speed lim.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I never knew that. I don't do
Anyways,
that.
it's worth trying. I don't know if it'll, because maybe that's been happening with you. I know for me, I remember having similar issues with slide where it's like
Yeah, what's
it
going
seems to
on?
be inconsistent sometimes, or it's like sometimes it's only like the difference between 3 or 4 is just like it's too big or something.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, this is I didn't know. This
But
is
yeah,
So
the
it just
metro into slide, because the
yeah.
bang will that makes slide not dependent on numbers coming in for it to continue to move to whatever the last number was.
That is incredible. I'm gonna try it like today.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you for the tip.
Yeah.
I only started to do graphic stuff because I really want to visualize my, hands really.
Yeah.